welcome to the Stylerunner Health Club. My name is Lauren and I am the Athletics Team Manager at F45 HQ, and today I'll be taking you through a Calypso King stretch session. So this is a static stretch based session. We have 15 moves to go through. We'll be holding each for 45 seconds and then having a 10-second break to transition into the next one. If you've got a mat and then maybe a towel if you need it, if you want some water, go ahead. We have a couple of poses that'll be single leg, so if you need something like the back of the chair to hold on to for a little bit more stability, I've got my tall foam roller just in case. We'll get straight into it. I've got my little app ready with my timer, so I'm going to guide you through each of the stretches along the way and give you some cues to help you deepen it a little bit further if that's what you're ready for today. Please only go to your own range. I'm just going to start this. We're going to start in a child's pose position. So knees nice and wide, heels together on the floor, and just walk those hands out. And then sink back into those hips. And breathe in and out. One more breath. And sink a little bit deeper. One more, breathe in and sink backwards. Really try to melt into the floor with this one. Sink back into those hips. It'll probably be a little bit easier on the second round. All right, gently coming up to all fours. The next one, we're going to do an abdominal stretch. So we're going to kick our feet back and we're going to go into more like an up dog position. If you've done any yoga, you may be familiar with it. If you can only go to Cobra, that's totally fine. Squeeze through the back, really feel that stretch. If you want to go all the way up, you may need to lift your thighs off the floor a little bit and really just feel that stretch through the front of the body. Take a few breaths here. Really settle into it. If you have a little bit of discomfort in your lower back, please take it back to Cobra and just feel that stretch through the front that way. Okay, we've got 10 seconds to transition to the next one. We're going to stretch out our glutes. So come into a seated position, hop one foot on the floor, and then cross where your ankle is to where your knee is, and we're going to prop our hands back and kind of lean into it. You should be feeling it right through this glute here on the back side. Just breathe into it. Two more breaths here. If you need to flex the foot to protect your knee a little bit, go ahead. And as you breathe out, just press in a little bit more. Have a little rock into it. Take your time. Like I said, the first lap might be a little bit more sticky, and then the second lap you may be able to ease into them a bit more. All right, gently letting go, swapping the feet, grabbing our little position with our hands, flex the foot if you need to, and breathe in and out. And in, and sink in a little bit closer. You can shuffle that foot back a little bit or lean into it. Have a little rock in there. If you find an edge, kind of just ease into it. This is going to help you open up the posterior chain a little bit. If you've been doing a lot of squats and a lot of deadlifts, you may be a little bit tight through the glutes. All right, gently transitioning out of that one. We're going to go into a kneeling position and we're going to do a quad stretch. Now, if this hurts your knee at all, the one that's on the floor, then feel free to do a standing version instead. So we're just going to lean into it, holding that back foot. If you want to squeeze this glute, you'll get an even more intense stretch in the quad. I find it more helpful to be looking forward, but I need to look at you guys. So you guys look forward, hang in there. A few more seconds. And then we're going to let go of that foot, place our hands on the ground, swap legs. Having a slightly wider stance between your legs will help you with the balance on this one as well, as we're switching on the core. Just gently pulling that foot towards the booty. And just leaning back into it to deepen the stretch. Take a few more breaths. You guys should be really starting to warm into it now. Getting the blood flowing a little bit, easing into those stretches a little bit further each time that you take a breath. All right, hands back on the floor, gently transition out of that one. We're going to do a seated groin stretch. So basically, it's a butterfly stretch, in case you've ever done that one in yoga as a kid, sitting on the floor. You can have a little rock from side to side if you like. And the further that you bring those heels towards you, the more of a stretch you're going to feel through the inner thighs. Try and keep the chest upright as much as possible. And just breathing through this. Couple more breaths. Really sinking those knees to the floor if you can. Okay, I'm going to gently come out of that one. We're going to go into a lying lower back twist. So I'm going to lie on the floor. I'm going to put one leg out. And I'm going to put my knee across to the other side. And I'm going to try and look the opposite way. You should start to feel a nice stretch through the lower back, coming towards the hip. So this may be as far as you go today. If you can try and keep that shoulder on the floor, that's great. Just go as far as you can while still being comfortable. We don't want to overdo it and twinge ourselves. Just take your time and breathe through it. We still have another lap to go through as well, where you can open up even further. You can also feel a little bit of an opening through the chest here, all the way out to the shoulder. Okay, gently hopping out of this one. I'm going to twist this way so I can talk to you at the same time. You guys can see what's going on. Basically, you need to feel that touch point in the shoulder and just play around with it. You may notice that one side is a little bit tighter than the other. Perfectly normal. Just breathe into it. 3 more breaths. A lot of people who are sitting at desks a lot all day will have quite tight lower backs. It's quite normal. So it's really important to take the time to unwind a little bit and stretch out. All right, gently rolling out of that one. We're going to come up into a pigeon pose. If you've done yoga, you will know this one well. You'll definitely notice a difference from one side to the other if you're like me. So you're just going to keep that leg forward, flex the foot to protect the heel, and just lean into it. Only go as far as you'll allow. If you can only go to here at the moment and you feel quite a stretch, that's totally okay. Just sink into it. It may take a few seconds for you to be able to take it down a notch. Some of you will be really flexible and will be able to be on the floor straight away. Try and keep those hips square. But you can kind of rock into it where you feel a bit of an edge and you need to soften into that. You'll find this one a lot easier on the second lap, I can guarantee. All right, gently coming back out of that one. We're gonna swap sides. So bringing the foot over, you may need to help yourself. Sometimes I need to hold my foot because it slides back a little bit. If you're going too far, that's totally okay. Just ease into where you can, what's comfortable for you today. Slowly sinking those hips as we go. If this is as far as you need to go, that's totally okay. I recommend starting up here and then slowly working your way down as you get better and better with each breath. Take a big breath in and out, sinking in a little bit deeper. All right, easing up out of that one. So we have a standing glute stretch. If this is too much, you can do it from the floor. I'm gonna grab this because the minute I need to do something on camera, I always lose my balance. So we're crossing our ankle over the top of our knee, and we're just gonna sit back into that. Keeping a gaze forward, keeping that core switched on will help you with your balance, and just taking your time. Sinking in a little bit deeper with the next breath. I have one leg shaking because I was doing single leg work today. Couple more breaths, here we go. Yeah, gently coming up out of that one. We're going to go to the other side, so swap your foam roller over the back of the chair if you need to. Ankle goes just above the knee and we just sink into that leg. You want to feel it on the outside of this one, on the outside of the glutes. Flex the foot if you need to protect the knee a little bit more, if you've got sore knees. And just hang in there. Couple more breaths. If you need to do a seated version, just cross over here and lean into it again. Easy, easy. You can even do it lying down if you want to rock backwards and pull your legs a little bit towards you. One more breath. All right, gently coming up out of that one. And we're going to do a wide leg straddle. So, bringing the feet, I'm going to move my towel a little bit. Feet wide. Point the toes forward, sink a little bit. If you can only go to here, that's fine, only go to here. If you can go a little bit lower, great. If you can get your hands to the floor, duck the head. I'm not going to duck the head for long because I have to speak to you guys. If you want to wedge your feet out a little bit more, just to sink into it, that's totally fine. Really hinging at the hips and folding forward so that you feel that stretch right through the back of the legs. Rocking into that for one more breath. And gently coming out of that one. All right, we're going to do our last stretch of this sequence. We're going to do a double hamstring stretch. So, sitting down. Folding at the hips, leaning forward. If you can reach the feet, great. If you can reach past the feet, great. If you can only go to here and it still feels a bit tight, as long as you can try and get your legs semi-flat, that's totally fine. If you need to have them a little bit bent for the first part and then just slowly ease into pressing them to the ground, great. You really want to be feeling that all through the hammies, and sometimes you'll get a little bit of a stretch through the lower back as well, depending on how tight you are. Breathe into this one. And sink a little further. If you can pop your head forward, just really surrender into it. All right, easing up out of it. We're gonna go back for our second lap now. It's going really quickly. So we're gonna hop into child's pose. Pop the knees back a little bit further if you can this time. Walk the hands forward and really sink in. You might feel this in your shoulders if you've been doing some stuff recently. Let's go for 2 or 3 more breaths. Edging up out of that one. Do a little cat-cow if you want to on the way. And we're going to go down into our Cobra and then into our up dog if it feels comfortable for us today. If it doesn't, don't worry. So Cobra's here. We're pulling through the back. We're getting a nice little stretch through the front. Up dog, all the way up. And you'll really feel it from your hips all the way up to the top of your ribs, that part of your abdominals. Don't want you feeling it in the lower back. So squeeze your glutes or drop down if you need to. There's a little bit of a modification if you've got a bit of a weak lower back. Try and keep your shoulders back and down. I'm really guilty of punching up like that. Try and keep as much posture as possible. Okay. Gently come out of that one. So we've got our static seated glute stretch again. So we're sitting down, popping one leg down like that and crossing the ankle over the knee. And we're going to lean into it. A few more breaths here. Not many people take the time to do a full 30-minute stretch, but I can tell you it makes the world of difference if you've done a really tough workout, or even on those days that you just want to have a little bit of mobility, but you don't necessarily want to do a full-on workout. We all have those days, and it's good to listen to your body and just take a little bit of time, no matter what it is, to do some sort of movement every day. You really start to feel the difference if you incorporate some stretching into your workouts though. Okay, swapping legs. I also find it really helpful to do some dynamic mobility, so some moving stretches just before a workout. Not so much to stretch all the muscles, but just to get the blood flowing, get the joints moving. Really, really helps with my workouts, helps with some activation as well. I'm just leaning into that one. You want to wiggle the toes back a little bit, come in a little bit deeper. I reckon you'll really notice the difference in this second lap. One more breath. And out. All right, slowly come out of that one, bend the elbows to let yourself go. We're going to go into our kneeling quad stretch. So I might do this standing because my knees are a little bit funny, but feel free to do this from the floor if you want to. I'm going to hold my foam roller for a bit of stability. I find that I can go much further when I'm standing as well, because I can really squeeze the glutes to feel that stretch through the front of the quad. Let's do 3 more breaths here. And slowly pop that leg down. We're going to go to the other side. Pressure through the front foot, pulling that back leg upwards. Squeezing the glutes to really feel that stretch through the front of the leg. Trying to keep that posture nice and proud. Shoulders back and down, relaxed position. And just keep that core on for stability. It helps to pick a point and look at it. Couple more breaths here. Squeezing a little bit further, sinking a little bit deeper into that one. And just gently let go. Beautiful work, guys. We're going to go back to a seated position for a groin stretch. So this is your butterfly stretch. Oops. Just popping the feet together, having a little wiggle until we get into a comfy position, and trying to press those knees to the floor. I wouldn't recommend bouncing per se, but if you need to have a little wiggle to feel it a bit better, go ahead. Trying to keep those shoulders back and down, chest upright, and breathing nice and easy. Try not to force it too much. Alright, slowly hopping out of that one. We're going to transition into our static lying lower back twist. So we're going to lie down. Just move this guy out of the way. Oh God, he's going to fall over. Bringing the knee to one side. Trying to pop the shoulder towards the floor on the other. And just looking in the direction of your opposite hand over here. Back when I wasn't working in an office 5 days a week, I would easily be able to touch both my shoulder and my knee, but that doesn't really happen anymore. So I think I need to incorporate these ones a little bit more often. Just breathe into it. It can be easy to hold your breath throughout this movement, but it's really important to breathe and just kind of surrender into it where you can. And gently roll out of that one. We're going to flip to the other side. So opposite knee. Oh, I'm even tighter on this side. So shoulder down, trying to just inch that knee towards the floor a little bit to where it feels comfortable. If you have to hold your breath, you're going too far. So just come back a little bit, breathe into it, and just surrender into the movement. Three more breaths. I can feel myself deepening even with each breath. Alright, gently rolling out of that one. We don't need to move too fast out of our stretches. We're going to go back to pigeon. So really nice glute stretch. Pop that one leg back, one leg at a 90-degree angle, and just rock into it. My foot wants to come back, so I'm just going to make it come back this way. And just trying to keep the hips as square as possible. Taking a breath. And relaxing into it. One or two more breaths here, just gently rocking into it. Gently coming out of that one. And we're going to swap legs. If you have a block or a rolled up towel that you need, you can feel free to pop it under your leg here to give you a little bit more support. Better on this leg. This time. I feel like it was the opposite last time. Gently rocking in, taking a breath, and just falling into the movement a little bit more. Take your time. Alright, gently coming up out of that one. Flex the foot and hop backwards. We're going to go into our static glute release, standing glute release. So I'm going to hold onto my foam roller because my balance is terrible every time I have to be on camera. And just sinking into that leg a little bit. spot. Keep the core braced. Try and keep the chest up as much as possible, even though we're sinking forward a little bit. If you need to put a little bit more pressure on the outer knee to get that glute, go ahead. You'll be amazed at how relaxed you feel after this. Just taking 30 minutes to do something really focused and gentle for your body is such a good thing. You'll feel really refreshed. Okay, gently coming up out of that one, swapping the feet, and getting ready to sink back in to the other side. Let's swap my foam roller so I can give myself a little bit of an extra challenge. My glutes feel much better already. Not nearly as tight. Couple more breaths, breathe in and out. And in and out. A little bit further. Good job, guys. All right, popping that one away. We're going to go into our wide leg straddles. So, as wide as is comfortable for you. I'll just arm that so my feet don't slide too much. Hinging at the hips, keeping that belly button towards the spine, and just touching the floor if you can, or if you go to your knees, your shins, your ankles, whatever feels comfortable for you. Just work to your range today, don't overdo it. Keeping the feet facing forward, and just have a wiggle into it. You'll find your tight spots and you can just gently lean into them. You can have a little walk to one side and then walk the hands over to the other side. And then gently walk back to the middle and squeezing the glutes, coming back up. And then we've got our last stretch. So, hopping into the seated position, hinging at the hips again and lengthening out. Remember, if you can only go to here, that's fine. If you can go to here, great. If you can go all the way, no problems at all. Some people will be even able to fold themselves in half like a pancake. Usually they're dancers or gymnasts. I haven't been able to do that for quite some time, so don't feel bad if you can't. Just take your time and fold into it. Remember, it's your practice. We're going to your level today just to make you feel as comfortable as possible so that you'll want to come back and do some more stretching. You'll really feel the benefits if you work to your level rather than pushing yourself to somebody else's. All right. Great job, guys. Have a little stretch. Open up the chest. Hands up. Lean to one side. Hands up to the middle. Lean to the other side. I hope you enjoyed our stretch session today, guys. If you'd like to do any more of these, please feel free to reach out to us. You can follow me on Instagram. My handle is @LaurenK_Vickers, and you can also follow F45 Training, which is @F45_training. Thank you so much for coming along today. I hope you feel really relaxed and refreshed, and we'll see you next time.